back to WTFrank Sports. It's your boy Lee, and I got my co-host back in the building. He had a week off, but he's back in the building. Chris, what's going on, man?
Hey, Lee, I'm excited to be back with our fans and here tonight to talk sports. We have a great shot.
So we got a great show for you guys that's going to be coming up here. My man Chris, he want me to cut it, but I'm actually going to keep it rolling. So, you guys, first off, I want to say thank you for everybody who checked out the Kobe Bryant video. We had a lot of likes and views, especially on Facebook. It blew up. So appreciate everybody who checked that out. And if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check out a Kobe Bryant tribute video and give that a watch. Tonight, what we're going to talk about, Super Bowl 55. So Super Bowl 55.
Yep. I'm excited. We have a matchup of two excellent teams. I was telling Lee the other day, this is like our Pro Bowl matchup, the AFC versus the NFC with all the star power we have.
So many Pro Bowlers on each team. You're right. So many Pro Bowlers on each team. So what we're going to talk about, let's talk about some keys to the game. So we're both going to give you 3 keys for that team to be successful in order for that team to win the Super Bowl. So let's start off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Chris, what are your 3 keys for victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Well, let me start off with number 1. Number 1 is pressure from the front 7, especially the front 4. I believe that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to have to create pressure without blitzing from their front 4, their defensive linemen and outside linebackers, Shaquille Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul, and Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea. They're going to have to get pressure, and their linebackers are going to have to be able to cover Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill over the middle. Their linebackers are extremely versatile and fast. Devin White and Levante David.
Is that key number 2?
That's key number 1, front 7. The front 7 has the ball out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let me get to my second point, which brings me to my second point. Let's move over to the offensive side. Ball security. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers cannot turn the ball over versus the high-powered Kansas City Chiefs. Ball security will be important. Last week, Brady threw for 3 interceptions in the second half. That cannot happen in a Super Bowl game. We got to have a clean game to perfection. And I know Brady, he can do it. And my third key to the game is in order for the Bucs to bring home the championship title on their home field, they have to have over 450 yards of total offense. To me, if they have over 450 yards of total offense, that means that they've dominated the clock, they've been in possession of the ball, and most likely they've been able to put a lot of points on the board. So those are my 3 keys to success to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How about you, Lee?
Okay, so we made these lists completely separate from each other. So there's a little bit of overlap here. And Chris don't know what I put down. I didn't know what he put down before. So I'm going to go ahead and give you what I wrote down. Key number 1, can their secondary slow down Mahomes? Because that first time they played, Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, remember Tyreek Hill went off for, 200 yards in the first half? They were torching them. So can they slow Mahomes down, Kelce, and Tyreek Hill? Can they slow Mahomes down in that passing offense? That's key number 1. Key number 2 is you got to get pressure on Mahomes. That's one thing that they did last week. You talked about Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul, Vita Vea, and Ndamukong Suh, 4 Pro Bowlers, who's going to be going after Patrick Mahomes, by the way. So all those guys last week, they did a great job of getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers, making sure that he's not comfortable. When Brady threw those 3 picks, the defense had to step up, and they had to prevent the Packers from scoring. And that's what they did. They did that with the pressure that they were putting on Aaron Rodgers. So can they do that? Mahomes is a little bit more elusive than Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers also missed a clear path to at least the first down, if not the touchdown, on one of those runs. But can they get pressure on Mahomes? That's key number 2 for the Buccaneers to win. Key number 3, which Tom Brady is going to show up? Which Tom Brady is going to show up? Is it going to be Tom Brady, the GOAT, the guy that can galvanize and lead the troops into battle? Or is it going to be the pretty good Tom Brady, still pretty good, but he gets flustered sometimes when he gets under pressure, and sometimes he just throws up the balls like he was doing last week. Like some of those picks, he was just chucking them. In order for them to win, Tom Brady, the MVP, Tom Brady, the GOAT, is going to have to show up and show out for the Buccaneers to win. So let's hit the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs. In order for the Kansas City Chiefs to win, what you got for me?
So let me start off with number 1 for the Chiefs. Steve Spagnuolo's defense has to create takeaways. Led by the Honey Badger, they have to mix up their defensive schemes and confuse Tom Brady into turning over the ball and throwing interceptions. And they have the talent to do it. Over the past couple of games, the Kansas City Chiefs have only been allowing about 20 points per game. And Steve Spagnuolo has defeated Tom Brady before in the Super Bowl.
With the Giants.
Yes, with the Giants. That was a wonderful, wonderful performance because the Patriots at the time were heavy favorites.
He did it twice.
Twice. You're correct. He did. So this will be an excellent matchup of defensive scheme versus offensive scheme. And which leads me to my second point for the Chiefs. That is, get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Like Lee previously mentioned, Tyreek Hill is a problem. He dominated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their first matchup. I believe it was week 12 early in the season. I mean, over 200 yards in the first half. That's unbelievable. If they get the ball in the hands of their playmakers, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, if both of them have over 100 yards, it will be a phenomenal show from the Kansas City Chiefs. And they have the capability to pull it off.
Yep.
I mean, these players are one of a kind. I'm calling it Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
And my third key to success for the Kansas City Chiefs is protect Patrick Mahomes. The Kansas City Chiefs have had some injuries to key offensive linemen throughout this year, including, most importantly, Eric Fisher, their starting left tackle. So they have to protect Patrick Mahomes because the Tampa Bay's front four will be coming. But I want to hear from you, Lee. What do you think about your takeaways?
Okay, so there's a little bit of that last one is exactly what I have on my first takeaway is, will the offensive line hold up? Because like you mentioned, they have 3 starters that's down, including Eric Fisher. Eric Fisher, he was drafted number 1 overall, wasn't he? Yeah, he hasn't played like it all the time, but as a matter of fact, sometimes he's downright sucked. But he is still a big piece. So with bringing in these backup players, can they come in and can they at least give Mahomes enough time, at least for him to buy time with his legs to get the ball downfield? So can the offensive line hold up? That's the first one. Number 2, get pressure on Tom Brady. You talked about Steve Spagnuolo and how he beat Tom Brady twice in 2 Super Bowls. How did he do that? Getting pressure. Both games, they were getting pressure on Tom Brady, hitting Tom Brady, not letting him get comfortable. Steve Spagnuolo knows how to beat Tom Brady, and I expect that they're going to be bringing pressure. And I think he's going to be mixing it up too. Sometimes he's going to blitz the Honey Badger. Sometimes he's going to try to generate it with the front four. He's going to give them different looks. You got to get pressure on Tom Brady and make him uncomfortable. And so that's key number 2. Key number 3. This one's a little different from yours. You said, give the ball to your playmakers. And while I agree with that, my key number 3 is you got to get people not named Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce involved early and often. So, I mean, Sammy Watkins, Mecole Hardman, the different backs in the backfield, dumping it down to them. If you can get Sammy Watkins and Hardman involved, I mean, Tyreek Hill is going to get his. Travis Kelce is going to get his. If you get those other guys involved, that makes it even harder. That makes Kansas City almost unbeatable. And they're going to put up 40 points if they can get those guys involved, 40-plus points. So that's my key number 3 for the Kansas City Chiefs to get a win. And, Chris, I like something that you had talked about earlier when you brought up Steve Spagnuolo, the battle between, their offense and the Rams defense, but also, the Buccaneers got Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, who's a great defensive mastermind, against Andy Reid, who's a great he's an offensive guru. So, and him and Eric Bieniemy, both of them, they're good offensive minds. So it's going to be like a chess match out there. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great Super Bowl.
I think so too, and I absolutely agree. And I wanted to just touch on a couple of points that you mentioned. I believe that both teams are relatively healthy with their skill positions going into this game. So the Tampa Bay Bucs will have the return of Antonio Brown, and then the Kansas City Chiefs will have Le'Veon Bell. So that's one of those key players who you were talking about that the Chiefs need to get the ball to out of the backfield. And he's one of those running backs that can play make. He can run the ball and he can catch it. So it will be definitely an interesting matchup of schemes and strategy, and I'm looking forward to it. But I'm hoping that we can get into our predictions, maybe even some X factors, our MVP predictions for both.
Yeah, let's start with the MVP. So if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were to win this game, who do you see being the MVP?
So if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win Super Bowl 55, although this year has been all about Tom Brady, the GOAT, I believe that the MVP of the Super Bowl will be Antonio Brown. He was built for moments like this. This will be his opportunity to redeem himself. He's coming back fresh after missing last week's NFC Conference Championship game, and I look for him to be the key factor on a breakout MVP performance for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm actually predicting if they go on to win the Super Bowl, he'll have over 170 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns. That will earn him the MVP for the Super Bowl, and it'll be a redeem story. What about you, Lee?
Those stats would earn him the MVP. But Antonio Brown coming off the bench, Scotty Miller took his spot. So if the Buccaneers were to win, I thought about, Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett, because those edge rushers, they just get that pressure. But I'm actually going to choose Devin White, the linebacker. Because, look, Devin White was their leading tackler in the regular season, and he was also their leading tackler in the postseason, even though he didn't play in one of the games. And he was still the leading tackler. In the regular season, Jason Pierre-Paul led the Buccaneers in sacks with 9.5. Devin White was number 2 with 9.5 sacks. So in this game, if he can get maybe a sack or 2, maybe get a sack and then a hurry, and then also maybe if he makes some plays in the coverage, gets a pick, makes a lot of tackles, I could see him being the MVP. He's going to have to play big in order for them because they're going up against that offensive juggernaut. So he's going to have to play big in order for them to get that MVP. So if the Buccaneers would win, I'm saying Devin White, MVP.
I love that pick because he's been playing excellent, outstanding performance. I just remember a couple of games ago when they played the Saints, he was the one that led that defense to shutting the Saints down in the second half. So I'm looking forward to a big-time performance from Devin White.
Yeah, I like to try to choose somebody outside that people might not think of. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, he's a big-time player, and he's kind of doesn't get the recognition that some other players get. Okay, so let's jump to the Chiefs. If the Chiefs win, who do you see him being the MVP?
So I had to give this one some thought, and I was torn between 2 players, Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. But ultimately, I landed on the $500 million arm, Patrick Mahomes. If the Chiefs are to bring home the title, I predict that Mahomes throws over 500 yards. He has a dominant performance to show that the torch has been passed to Mahomes boy. That's right. Patrick Mahomes, the new face of the NFL. And if he can pull it off, the Chiefs will be in the middle of a supreme dynasty led by Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. And they'll be hard to take down for the next couple of years. But what about you, Lee?
So I'm gonna just jump right to it. I got Mahomes as well. I know it's not earlier I just said I like to choose people different, and then I chose Mahomes for the Kansas City Chiefs. But Mahomes is what makes that Chiefs offense go. He's gonna have to buy some time with his legs because the offensive line is beat up, which he can do. I see him scrambling. I see him making plays on the run, making plays on the fly. He's gonna get, like I said, Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce put up wide receiver type numbers this year, and he's going to get those other guys involved. And so I just think if the Chiefs were to win, I agree with you. He's going to pass for 400 plus yards, at least 400 plus yards for them to win. With that being said, what's your prediction for the game?
So I've been going back and forth on this, and I actually kept the same score that I predicted. But after giving it some thought, just right before the show, there's no way I can go against Tom Brady. The storyline is just too good. He's in his 20th year in the NFL. This is a historic moment. He's the first player to lead a franchise to the Super Bowl in the hometown where the Super Bowl is being hosted. He's going to lead Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl championship. He's going to have a flawless performance and solidify, which he's already done, his place in NFL history as the supreme GOAT. Tom Brady leads the Buccaneers to victory 45-42 in an electrifying high offensive matchup versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And it will be a performance of a lifetime. And after the game, he will retire, have his drop the mic moment, and give a shout out to Bill Belichick.
So I'm picking the Chiefs, even with the beat up offensive line. I think both teams are going to march down the field, but I think there's going to be more field goals in this one, or it's not going to be all touchdowns. There's going to be a lot of touchdowns, but I think there's going to be field goals in there because both of these teams have good defenses. They got good defensive masterminds. And so I think that while the teams are going to march down the field, I think they're going to be able to give them some resistance in the red zone. And so for me, I think there's going to be a lot of yards in this game. The score I have 34-30, the Chiefs over the Buccaneers. Patrick Mahomes, MVP with 400 plus yards passing. That's my prediction for this.
I tell you what, this is a win-win for the football fan because you really, truly have two of the greatest quarterbacks in the game right now, and we get a moment to watch history. Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes, Bruce Arians versus Andy Reid, Todd Bowles versus Steve Spagnuolo. I'm looking forward to the excitement.
Although technically it'd be Todd Bowles versus Andy Reid because offense versus defense and Spagnuolo versus Bruce Arians. But we get what you're saying. I'm just trying to correct you and mess with you. But anyway, you guys, those are our predictions. So you guys, let us know who do you think is going to win and what the score is going to be. Because whoever comes closest, we have a $25 giveaway for them. You heard that? If you comment on the YouTube video comments and tell us who you think is going to win and the score. And whoever is the closest to being correct, they're going to win $25 for free giveaway. So you guys go ahead and do that. And we appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching the video. Chris, you got any final thoughts, any final words that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, enjoy yourself watching this Super Bowl. It should be electrifying performance. Please like and subscribe on Facebook and on our YouTube channel. Thank you.
All right.
We're out.
We're out.
What I notice when I talk, I get so animated, I mispronounce my word.